how do you stop social anxiety? Today, I'm not just going to share with you how to stop social anxiety. I'm actually going to share with you how to use social anxiety to your advantage. If you are a life coach, if you are somebody who wants to be out there in the world doing amazing things that inspire you, making our world a better place, but social anxiety keeps getting in the way and holding you back from showing up and doing the work in the world you want to do, definitely watch this video. And if you could care less about being a coach or any of those things, you just struggle with social anxiety, this is for you as well. All right, so Fanny's question is really long and really in depth. I'm not going to read it all. She was born as a highly sensitive person, and in growing up, she noticed that she would kind of hide out, I'm paraphrasing here, and hide in the room, and when there were a lot of people over or family members over, and then she would be judged and criticized as weird or awkward, and that just made her feel even more anxious and even extra social anxiety. This is a key part of her question. And notice what it is for you. I fear, whatever you fear is where the gold is, and it's going to be your advantage. So bear with me for a moment. I fear they will see my awkwardness, nervousness during an interaction and judge me as foolish, weird, and reject me. She just gave me a very clear clue of where her advantage is. What I mean by advantage is our triggers are actually treasures in disguise. Our challenges are actually opportunities for growth, for evolution, for having unbreakable, unshakable self-confidence if we know how to use those triggers. That's what this entire book is about that I wrote years ago, The Diamond Process. If you want to do a deeper dive, definitely check that out. She's saying, I feel so ungrounded when I spend time outside alone, which I really enjoy. I feel so ungrounded, self-conscious, and I have fear of making eye contact with strangers. Can you relate to that? If you have social anxiety, or if you have a client who has social anxiety, just really tune into this, because this is a legitimate, real thing that I used to go through, and I know how it feels. So I avoid making eye contact with them unless I have to, like to order food, groceries, etc. So the anxiety is not with her when she has like a close friend with her, it's just when she's alone. This gives me support to have that other person. Even so, I still want to live my life and be able to live freely and express myself freely in the world. Lately, I have some kind of realization that I was wrong. I tried to get rid of my social anxiety instead of befriending it. I would really appreciate if you could give me more guidance and advice on this. Lots of love, Fanny. So what I really hear in your share and your question, Fanny, is that you would love to be able to move through life freely without feeling so self-conscious. Let's take a breath. Exhale it out. And inhale in. And exhale out. One more just like that. Inhale in deeply. And exhale out completely. The real opportunity that jumped out in your question, in your share, is that you fear that others will see you as awkward, as nervous, and you avoid being the center of attention, which is another part of what she wrote that I didn't share. She won't even get up and go to the bathroom, things like that, at a dinner table because she doesn't want eyes on her. And really that's an avoidance of being in the spotlight because she doesn't want people to see her as awkward or nervous. Anything you don't want to be is going to get bigger until you own that it's a facet of you, that it's part of you. I'm going to say that again. Anything you don't want to be is going to get bigger until you learn how to accept it as an orphaned child or a part of you. Think of it as a diamond. You are this glorious, infinite, multifaceted diamond. And there's a part of you that's awkward. There's a part of you that's nervous. There's a part of you that is afraid and suffers with anxiety. If you fight that, if you keep trying to push it away, it will get bigger. So in your question, you did talk about realizing you did something wrong by pushing the anxiety away. And I would just say, drop that. I know you're aware that befriending anxiety is the way to integrate it. However, it's not helpful to judge yourself for trying to push anxiety away. That's part of the path. It's only natural to want to get rid of something that's painful, that causes a lot of upset and struggle. So just be gentle on yourself. And now we're opening up to a new possibility. Okay, that's exactly what you needed to do in the past. And now we're opening up to using social anxiety to your advantage. Okay, you ready? Continue breathing as I'm sharing, because this is going to be pulling some stuff up, and we just want to breathe it in and exhale it out. Okay, so we're just starting to clean up any of the belief structures that have told you that you can't show parts of yourself to the world, that you should shame certain parts of you. And so what we're doing is we're starting to expose those parts and let those parts be loved and accepted and be seen, so that you, as the diamond self, can relax and own your power. And the only way to own your power is to actually embrace every single part of you. And when you do this, and by the way, the awkward facet of myself was exactly the thing I used to struggle with as well. And now I totally embrace that I'm extremely awkward sometimes. I just no longer pretend I'm not that. And by doing that, ironically, I don't really stumble or feel awkward. If something weird comes out of my mouth, I just kind of giggle, and that's sweet and lovable, and I love that part of me too. So I'm just starting to open up a context of what's possible, and that anxiety is not actually an emotion. Take that in for a moment. Anxiety is not an emotion. The first time I heard this by Leonard Jacobson, it rocked my world, and it's true. Check it out for yourself. Anxiety is not an emotion. It's actually the result of not feeling repressed emotions. So let's say you felt really sad because somebody judged you as weird when you went into your room by yourself, and your mind went crazy, like, oh my God, I'm so weird. And the ego started using self-criticism to beat you up so that you didn't have to feel the pain of being judged. And what that did is it just pushed the sadness down. The sadness in that moment, all it needed was to cry a little bit, and then you would have felt better. But what the ego does is overthink things so that we don't have to feel. But what that does is it stuffs the repressed emotions in our physical body. Where else can they go? And then anxiety is like a cap on those emotions. So it's like, I have to keep all this down. I have to hold it all together. I have to push it down. I can't let people see this. When we allow our emotions to flow freely, when we allow ourselves to be angry when we're angry, and allow ourselves to cry when we want to cry, just like an innocent child, not necessarily out in public. I get that you wouldn't want to do that in public, but have a sacred space, have a place where you can be 100% yourself, have a community like the Diamond Dojo where we have an authenticity circle, or really anywhere, a support group where you can be yourself and start to let this out. And what happens is the anxiety lifts because it's only really there to control or push down the emotions. Once you allow yourself to feel what you feel without beating yourself up or judging yourself, or these overthinking patterns, which I have so many videos on this channel about, so make sure you check those out. Just understand that the origin comes from the trauma in your childhood, right? You had a wounded, anxious mother, Fanny, and it were your words, not mine. And she was always yelling at you, and this belief formed that something must be wrong with me, okay? So something must be wrong with me. I must be unlovable. So notice that that's really the origin, and then that led you to taking judgments personally, because once you believe there's something wrong with me, there must be, and that's very innocent from a child's perspective. My God, if my mom is yelling at me and not loving me, there must be something wrong with me. Like, I must be unlovable. It's a very innocent assumption as a child. However, it's false. But if that is the foundation, and that's really the foundation of most humans' belief structures, is there's something wrong with me. I'm just not lovable. Once that's the foundation, then every judgment we get, it starts to become personal, because deep down, we actually believe that they're right. So it's not other people's judgments that are the problem, it's that we believe them. It's not their judgments that hurt, it's our judgments on ourselves. Once you can take rejection without rejecting yourself, you're free. Once you can receive rejection from somebody else without rejecting yourself, You are free. Okay, so that's really where the work is. This is the advantage you have, okay? The advantage you have is now, rather than rejecting yourself, you learn how to embrace yourself, how to accept yourself. That means the anxious one, that means the awkward one, that means the weird one. Oh my God, look at Fanny running in her room. Yep, that's me. I'm the weird one. I don't want to hang out with all you judgmental people. I'm much happier in solitude, like meditating and putting on essential oils and putting on my music and dancing. I totally own that. Once you own that, you are free, okay? Why it's an advantage is because now you're walking in the world as a very rare diamond, as a very rare human. No longer stuffing parts of you down to fit into a wounded world. Walking around whole. And when you walk around whole, you walk around sourced from your own loving, sourced from a higher power, sourced from a deeper place within you. And as you walk through life like this, guess what? Nothing can throw you down. Even if you fall down, your own loving, your own self-care, your own healthy mind lifts you back into well-being, into confidence, into presence. You have this power. This is the journey of a lifetime. This is what I call the hero's journey, or becoming the sovereign one. This is your sovereignty code, like really tapping into the power of you. Really, the problem is in trying not to be anxious around others, trying not to be seen as awkward or weird, not even standing up because, oh my God, what if I fall? Or what if people say something about me when I leave the table? Or what if I'm judged as this, that, and the other? That creates more anxiety, because remember, it's just that anxiety pushing the real feelings down, which are the pain of a judgmental world, the pain of living in a world where people are so lost in their heads that they throw judgment at you, okay? So you get to be the solution in our world. You get to use that as an advantage. And how do you do this? You go from needing the world out there, sourcing from the world out there to tell you that you're good enough, which they never will until you are able to find your own worth inside and clean up the belief inside that there's something wrong with you, because there is nothing wrong with you. You didn't do anything wrong. You are whole and complete deep down at your core, which can never shatter or never break. No matter what is thrown your way, the truth of who you are, who you've always been, deep down beneath all the lies that you believed as a kid, and then compound effect of that, continuing to believe that through your life, there's still this pure, powerful place inside you. It's what I call the diamond self. And the word diamond actually means unbreakable. So you actually rescue yourself. This is how you shift and use social anxiety to your advantage, is you actually rescue yourself from the critical mind, from the judgmental world. If you need help with this, definitely watch my video, How to Deal with Restless Thoughts, or something like that. Even if you have no trouble sleeping at night, the 5 steps I share with you in that video are going to help you so much. Really what I want to get across is that the key of your journey, Fanny, and all of you watching this, if you struggle with social anxiety, is to master your ability to feel your feelings. This is how you rescue yourself. You feel what you feel. Instead of being lost in overthinking and worrying about what they think of you, bring your energy and your attention into your feeling body and start to feel what you feel. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself what you feel, where you feel it in your body. Place your hands there, breathe, and rescue yourself. How? By simply saying, sweetheart, internally, I am here with you and I'm not leaving. I'm here now. And anxiety, I'm so sorry I tried to push you away all these years. I know you've had a message for me. I love you. I'm here with you. If you haven't watched the video I made with Mariana about social anxiety years ago, she was a past client who had major social anxiety, and now she's an extraordinarily powerful, confident woman. Watch that video. I'll put a link up here, and that will help you a lot. So really the path is watch that video, okay? It's very, very powerful. And second thing is feel your feelings, rescue yourself. And the third thing is to clean up the judgments that you've had on yourself about being unlovable or something being wrong with you. And the way that you do that is simply being aware right now is starting to clean it up. Like, oh my God, of course, when my mom was judging me, or being abusive towards me, I believed that I was unlovable. Get this, when we are children, when we are below, I think 5 or 6 years old, especially, up to 3 years old, we do not have cognition developed yet. So all we are feeling creatures. We feel everything. So it's not a logical conclusion we came to. We came to this conclusion like, I must not be lovable. There must be something wrong with me. It wasn't a logical thought because we didn't have access to that logical thought yet. However, we unconsciously was like, wait a minute, like I'm being pushed away when I feel this way. There must be something wrong with me. It's very unconscious. So right now, you just becoming aware of that is starting to lift it and clear it. And then you go into some self-forgiveness. The way I like to do it is with something called the obstacle clearing statement. If you have the Diamond Process book, go deep into step 5, which is using self-forgiveness or forgiving your past, okay? Using the obstacle clearing statement. And that is all about anywhere I bought into the belief that I am innately unlovable. I cancel, clear, and delete it, and I forgive myself completely. Take a breath, exhale it out. The reason I'm forgiving myself, just know consciously why you're forgiving yourself and not someone else, is because you're forgiving yourself for ever buying into the lie, for ever believing something that wasn't true, okay? Anywhere I bought into the belief that there must be something wrong with me, I cancel, clear, and delete it, and I forgive myself completely. Take a deep breath. Exhale it out. Now I ask you, what is the truth? The truth is, every facet of me is lovable. The truth is, I am whole and complete exactly as I am. The truth is, I am capable of loving and accepting me. The truth is, the tender, scared parts of me are worthy of love just as much as the confident, invincible parts of me are. Okay, so starting to bring that love, that unconditional love to your whole self and notice what happens. This isn't something that transforms in a video. I wish it was that easy sometimes. However, you're on a beautiful path, and the reason this is your advantage is because as a coach, guess what? You doing the work you're doing inside of yourself right now is your expertise. It becomes your doctorate, so to speak. You find your way through this, Fanny, and anyone else this resonates with, and you can help guide others through this, okay? And it will make you an incredibly stable, grounded force in any situation. And that means when a client is going through any situation, you can hold in presence with them through anything because you've already done that within yourself and you continue to do that within yourself. Just to recap here, anything you reject about yourself will get bigger. And the beautiful opportunity, your advantage right now, is that you actually get to embrace yourself, including the anxiety, and rather than wishing it away and watching it get bigger and take you over even more, it's about doing the inner work required to recognize that what the anxiety was just trying to mask and trying to help you avoid feeling was all it knew how to do. It was like an ally, it was a friend trying to help you with that. And it's not something to push away. It simply no longer needs to be in the driver's seat. Now you get to be the one who embraces yourself. You are the one who gets to feel your feelings so that you can heal and embody the whole magnificent diamond that you are, because that is exactly what you are. I hope that this video serves you. If you receive something from this, you can give it a thumbs up. And I just want you to know, if you've been struggling with social anxiety, we live in a really challenging world. There's nothing wrong with you. We all go through this. And there's a quote by Krishnamurti, who was a very wise one, and he said, "There's nothing healthy about trying to fit in to an insanely sick culture." And he says it in a little bit different words. You can look up the quote. And that's the truth. There's nothing wrong with you. We simply live in a world that is not conducive to feeling safe. So you get to become that safety for yourself and shine that safety into the world.